In 1998, South Park was in the middle of airing Season 2, which is arguably some of their best work, with episodes like Chef's Chocolate Salty Balls, The Mexican Staring Frog of Southern Sri Lanka, and Gnomes.
Cartman, why do you always have to hit stuff with a stick? Well, look at him, he's he got all your What? Hey, he talked. I'm not a you're a You're a
After averaging almost 3 million views per episode, South Park was cemented as an instant classic. Around this time, many creators worldwide saw an opportunity to copy their blueprint to success. Phase 1, create 4 ill-mannered elementary school kids. Phase 2, and Phase 3, profit, which is exactly how we ended up with The Three Friends and Jerry, a South Park ripoff that derived from the country of Sweden. Now hear me out. It's not a blatant carbon copy like that Block 13 show I covered a few months ago, but when you put the two products side by side, the similarities are undeniable. The Three Friends and Jerry is based in a small town where 4 little rude-ass kids have adventures and interact with teachers, neighbors, parents, and random signature town people, like the local crackhead, Vicious Oscar. This right here is a sick man, a very sick man. The show revolves around 4 boys with abnormally large heads. An ugly one that nobody likes. He's pretty similar to Cartman. One with long poofy hair. This could be Kyle, but I also see traits of Stan, as this kid often vomits when nervous. One who never takes his hat off. This is definitely Kenny. And the last one. They gave him a personality more comparable to Butters. Nobody really likes him, but he constantly tries to join the gang. They bully him, pick on him, and treat him like crap at times. You see, this show was aimed to be a more family-friendly version of South Park, so don't expect coarse language or anything way over the top. But Jerry and company would get into mischief and end up in inappropriate situations for minors. Mind you, here in Canada, this show aired on YTV, a network dedicated to broadcasting material suitable for children. This channel was known for regularly showing programs like Uh-Oh, Sticking Around, and Twisted Tales of Felix the Cat. I guess there were exceptions to the rule, because when it comes to the Three Friends and Jerry, I have no idea how they got away with episodes containing bullying, cannibalism, death, perverted kids peeping under skirts, nudity, sexual innuendos, cross-dressing, and what would a kids show be without a gay dominatrix couple? Would you look at these freaky ass boys? Not to mention, in the season 1 Christmas special, these fairy-looking things are showing full frontal nudity for some sick-ass reason. They copied the 4 boys. They copied the shock humor. They copied the excessive vomiting. They copied the racial stereotypes. You remember Cartman gets an anal probe? They copied that too, when one of the kids is abducted, probed, and thinks it's all a dream. As mentioned, this show derives from Sweden, and the original is in a foreign language. Luckily, I was able to get my hands on the rare English dub from my childhood. So, kick back and relax as we do a deep dive into one of the strangest South Park ripoffs I've ever seen. This is The Three Friends and Jerry. The Three Friends and Jerry was created by Swedish illustrator Magnus Carlsen in 1998. It had a decent run of 3 seasons amounting to 39 episodes. The show aired on Nickelodeon UK, but was then translated and shown in select parts of North America. Here in Canada, the go-to channel back then was YTV. At the time of recording, the network still exists, but one couldn't deny the golden era was definitely in the 1990s. One fateful Friday night, after an episode of Freaky Stories, I found myself in the middle of a brand new cartoon being premiered. The Three Friends and Jerry takes place in the fictional town of Carlsonville, more than likely named after the series' creator. The show stars Jerry, the socially awkward bucktooth kid who's often bullied, Eric, the kid with long blonde hair, Thomas, the kid who is never seen without his green cap, and he refuses to take it off, and Frank, the very ugly kid who also happens to be the leader of the group. This is supposed to be the Cartman of the pack. Cartman is annoying, evil, a little racist, visibly off-putting due to his obese appearance, and nobody likes him because he's a little ass sucker.
Well, he is a little ass sucker.
Frank is incredibly ugly. He's unpleasant to look at, and he has this misshaped, lumpy head. He doesn't quite have hair, but he has hair, or at least this scruffy stubble crap growing all over. He just has this dirty look to him.
I'm Frank, I'm ugly, and I'm proud of it, and you're gonna eat my shoulder pads!
And if you squint your eyes ever so slightly, you can gaze into the future and see that he goes on to star as the main character from MTV's The Head. Come on, I can't be the only one who sees the resemblance. The friends are often harassed by 3 of their female classmates. Linda, the leader of the group who everyone finds attractive. Tess, the shy girl with the accent. And Mimi. Now that we're here, there's an elephant in the room that I'm choosing to address before we get any deeper into the video. You see, the town of Carlsonville is white. Very, very white. In 3 seasons, you'll encounter nothing but white people. If I'm not mistaken, they showed a total of 3 black people, and shockingly enough, 1 Asian person. Mimi happens to be that Asian person. Trigger warning, as I'm about to show a vile depiction of an Asian person, and this will deeply offend you, especially if you're from that region, have friends from that region, or have ever met anyone of Asian descent. Okay, you ready? This would never be allowed today. This is racist. Look at the chinky eyes. Mimi's skin is pitch yellow. She's as yellow as Jerry's sweater. She's as yellow as Simpsons and egg yolks. You remember back when you start Windows 95, go into Paint, and there's a panel of generic colors at the bottom? This is Mimi. She is yellow. The white people aren't really white. The black people aren't literally black. Why is Mimi as yellow as the definition itself? Racism aside, these are our protagonists, the friends and the mean girls. Now, kids or no kids, these girls are real bitches, I tell you. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. Every line they speak, and I mean every single line, they have this negative, sarcastic, mean, bitchy tone to their voices. For example,
What do you think about the rabbits? I hate rabbits! Look at those gross-looking teeth! Ugh!
example number 2.
Kick the can? What, are you stupid? That's only for little dorks like you guys.
And example number 3.
I think glasses suit Frank. Now you can tell he's a nerd before he even opens his mouth.
Even with the attitude and constantly being mistreated, the friends are madly in love with the mean girls, especially Frank, who has this unhealthy obsession with Linda. He often daydreams about her and tries to make out with her. Jerry is the new kid in town who's having a hard time fitting in. He attempts to join the 3 friends, but they think he's a loser. They only keep him around because he assists with some of their mischievous plans. They make constant promises to let Jerry join the gang, then use that leverage to get him to do things out of character. Like in the episode The Clubhouse, which was almost certainly inspired by a season 2 episode of South Park titled Clubhouses. The boys just finished building their brand new secret clubhouse. Jerry sees them hanging out and attempts to go kick it with them.
Hello, you meatballs. What are you doing? Are you mad? Get off that rope ladder.
They tell him he's not wanted, so Jerry begins to beg. Frank creates an entrance test. Jerry must break into the wealthy Roy Johnson's compound and attach cans and a just married sign to his car. During the mission, a guard dog almost mauls Jerry to death, but in the end, he succeeds. Then, a crowd of excited party animals begin to celebrate what they believe is a vehicle belonging to newlyweds. All the calamity causes Roy Johnson to return home with a fine for inciting a riot. It's then revealed that these white-ass people are Mimi's parents. That's how badly the creator must have hated Asians. He said, nope, only one. If we make her parents Asian as well, that's too many. One. Truth is, she was actually just adopted by this rich couple. Jerry returns to the clubhouse and attempts to enter when the boys reveal there's a part 2 of the test. He must dress up like a bunny and sing a song to Roy Johnson. So Jerry quickly does it and barely escapes death by guard dog once again. Jerry returns to the clubhouse and attempts to enter when the boys reveal there's a part 3 of the test. Jerry ain't no fool. He agrees, but says no matter what, this will be the last test he partakes in. Now, you remember that stick from the South Park episode?
Take this stick and jam it up your pee hole. What?
Now, that would be inappropriate for a kid's show. So instead, Jerry's mission is to take that stick and block Roy Johnson's chimney. Jerry succeeds, and the Johnson family almost dies from smoke inhalation. Jerry returns once again, and the boys allow him to join their club for a whopping 24 hours. Roy Johnson shows up, and he's pretty upset that Jerry almost murdered his wife and yellow-skinned child. He uses his money and connections to hire a chainsaw-wielding maniac to have the tree obliterated. They rightfully expel Jerry from the club and any future clubs for life. The few times the friends actually do enjoy having Jerry around is when they can use him as a fall guy. Like in this episode titled Snowball Fight. While playing in the snow, the friends accidentally destroy Vicious Oscar's shack.
Frank had many times in the past suggested that they blow up Vicious Oscar's shed. But to leave him to freeze to death seemed a little too cold-blooded.
So the boys tell Jerry to take the crackhead home and keep him warm. After some pushback, Jerry caves in and bravely takes the junkie home. I say bravely because his dad is an overly masculine psychopath with an anger problem. Complete opposite of Caillou's punk-ass sissy father. Oscar must have recently hit the pipe because on the way to Jerry's house, he keeps screaming out he's a snowman.
I'm a snowman.
Later that night, Jerry's parents catch the crackhead in the basement blasting music and drinking perfume. Speaking of crackheads, wish I had $1 for every time I've heard that. Vicious Oscar stars in possibly the most f***ed up Christmas special I've ever seen. The friends decide to go door to door singing Christmas carols to make some money. Frank takes this as an opportunity to get close to the love of his life, Linda. He asks if the Mean Girls would like to join them, but Linda declines. The friends wind up at the door of Dick Priest. Yeah, the priest's name is Dick. How inappropriate. But not as inappropriate as the Christmas song they decide to sing.
What should we do with a drunken sailor? What should we do with a drunken sailor? What should we do with a drunken sailor early in the morning?
But Dick is preoccupied at the moment. He's busy praying for Vicious Oscar, who is revealed to be his brother. Dick and Crackhead, of course. The friends then head to Mr. Birtwhistle's house where they sing another inappropriate song.
Hang down your head, Tom Dooley. Hang down your head and cry.
Who the hell is Tom Dooley and why is his head hanging down? Moments like this is when curiosity kicks you square in the teeth. Turns out, this is an old folk song about a Confederate veteran named Tom Dooley. In a jealous rage, he stabbed and murdered his cheating girlfriend, Laura Foster. In 1868, he was sentenced to death and was publicly hanged in North Carolina. A Christmas special making reference to murder and public hangings. This show is next level f***ed up. Mr. Birtwhistle begins to cry because the song is so depressing, and for some reason he gives the children beer, which they refuse. The Mean Girls see the success the friends are having and decide to join them. Now the whole large group of kids go door to door singing appropriate songs. First to a family, and then to an old grandma and grandpa. And of course, what would caroling be without serenading the gay dominatrix couple? At the end of the night, they're counting up the money when Vicious Oscar attacks them, causing the kids to run away. Throughout the commotion, nobody stopped to pick up the money. The episode concludes with Oscar pocketing all the cash, probably to buy a fresh batch of Christmas crack. This is not a kid show. This show was not for children. This is one of those teen shows pretending to be a kid's show, like Rocko's Modern Life. This is further proven in an episode called Forbidden Fruit. The class has a presentation on human anatomy when Eric sneaks in a picture of a broad in a bathing suit. Frank says he's only impressed by full-on nudity. Thomas interjects and calls him out, saying Frank has never seen a nude girl before. Frank claims he saw a naked lady in a health book, but Jerry says it only counts if you see it in real life. Eric butts in and says his grandma told him you can get paralyzed by looking at nudity. That's when the mean girls come along and call them stupid. Frank is mad that Eric made him look immature in front of Linda, the love of his life. So the boys head off looking for naked women. First they spy on the female change room, then they see Monica. She's the big-chested girl who works at Roy Johnson's shop. After failing to peek up her skirt, they hide in a tree and peep at random windows. Later on, they're walking by Mimi's estate when Frank hears Linda announce that she's naked. So he desperately attempts to climb the wall with his bare hands just to see her in the nude. With the help of a ladder, the friends reach the top of the wall when they realize they were tricked.
Peeping Toms.
The friends are disappointed and decide to head home. Frank wants some candy, so he stops at Roy Johnson's shop. It appears Monica has stepped out for lunch, so Frank breaks in. His favorite candy is sold out, so he goes in the back to search for more. That's when he sees Monica exiting the store shower, butt-ass naked. After seeing Monica naked, Frank is now rock hard. He's not talking, he's not moving, he's completely stiff. Word gets around town and the situation turns into a game of broken telephone. The rumor at school is that Frank got naked with 3 women and had a wild night. Frank's family is tired of seeing their son stiff all the time and decides he needs to get some fresh air. They take the friends to the beach where Frank sees his sweetheart Linda in a bathing suit. This causes the stiffness to become stronger and stronger until he collapses. Monica's boyfriend arrives, searching for the culprit who sexually harassed his woman. The boys search for a place to hide their stiff friend when they spot a nearby washroom. They open the door and walk in on Monica naked again. Now, Frank is cured while the other boys are rock hard. So by the show's logic, I guess seeing your first naked woman makes you hard, and then seeing a woman naked twice cures you? And one episode that tests that theory in reverse is Season 2's Girl Clothes. So, Eric's mom tells Jerry about a surprise party for her son. Jerry's mission is to keep Eric out of the house until 3 p.m. At school, the mean girls are planning a shopping trip for after class. Frank doesn't care about clothes, but shows interest to impress Linda. Eric is bored and about to go home, but to buy time, Jerry says they have to do something fun for Eric's birthday. The friends agree to collect cans to exchange for money, and Jerry knows the perfect place to go. When they arrive, they assume this goat over here ate all the cans, so Eric wants to go home now. To buy more time, Jerry suggests they go swimming. Due to the surprise party, he can't let the boys go home to change clothes. Jerry dares the boys to go skinny dipping, if they're not too afraid, of course. After brief hesitation, the friends are enjoying a nice afternoon skinny dip. When they get out to dry off, they realize that same goat has eaten their clothes.
Now how are we gonna get home? You noticed, hippie freak! What do you suggest we do now? It's all your fault.
The boys demand Jerry go find clothes, garbage bags, or a newspaper to hide their shame. Coincidentally, the girls just finished their shopping trip. They spot the boys who are butt naked and begin to take pictures to blackmail them later on in life. Luckily, Jerry finds a bag of brand new clothing and takes it back to the friends. They're reluctant at first, but then decide girl clothes are better than no clothes. Eric volunteers his house as it's the closest to their current location. Jerry tries to stop him from going home, but the friends are urgently sprinting away. After they refuse to listen to Jerry, they eventually make it to Eric's. They enter the house in girl clothing as everyone sings happy birthday. The boys are embarrassed, and the girls are pissed off about their stolen clothing. To get revenge, the mean girls plan to show the party the nude pics they took earlier that day. But instead, pictures get mixed up, and a baby picture of Linda's is shown by mistake.
She's totally naked. Where are the pictures of the guys, you jerk?
Everyone laughs, and nobody questions why the boys are cross-dressing. Now, Frank must have liked how he looked in that dress because he got into modeling in one of the better episodes. There's an ad in a magazine looking for young people to model clothing. Frank calls Jerry a sissy for showing interest in modeling, which in hindsight is hilarious because in another episode titled Junior Show, Frank calls into a hotline to confess a little secret.
It's kind of embarrassing, but I've always wanted to be a model.
Seconds later, his dream girl Linda says how sexy she finds models. So now, Frank decides to become a model. They go through the interview process, then the photographers realize Frank is very ugly, so Jerry gets the job. The next day, Linda reveals she will be modeling alongside Jerry, so Frank does his best to intervene. He pours itching powder in Jerry's clothes, which result in the photo shoot being ruined. As a backup, they call Frank, and he completes the shoot with the love of his life.
We'll be on billboards all over the country starting Wednesday. Then there's gonna be a poster signing. We're gonna be famous.
While editing the pictures, they realize Frank is ugly. Very, very ugly. The photographers call and let Frank know slight changes were made. Billboards go up at 11 p.m. sharp, so anxious Frank sneaks out at night to be the first to see the posters. Frank was replaced with a generic hunk, and they cut out his head and made him an ugly baby in the far corner. He becomes the laughing stock of the school. They make a complete mockery of this poor kid. This is when I actually started to feel bad for the little Ugmo. This show always teases him, and they always almost reward him with the girl of his dreams. When you see someone lose so often, you naturally start to root for them. I wanted to see Frank win Linda over. That is until I saw this episode. The friends are hanging out, debating on who bought Linda the best birthday present. Frank believes he bought a gift so special that Linda will fall head over heels in love with him. Thomas makes fun of Frank, asking what makes him think he was even invited to the party.
You might as well save your money. She's not even gonna invite you to her party.
Of course she will. We're cousins, you dork.
Wait a second.
She's not even gonna invite you to her party.
Of course she will. We're cousins, you dork.
They're cousins! 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 Just when I thought I've seen it all. Just when I was starting to think the show was actually decent. You have this nasty named Frank out here actively trying to bang his cousin. Now I'm getting sick of this disgusting show, so let's fast forward to one of the last episodes in this series. So the friends hate Jerry, and at this point I do too. They celebrate when Jerry's dad gets a job offer in a different city. The family hops in a car and moves far away to live in this big mansion. The friends then realize how bored they are without Jerry, so the cousin f***er suggests they go and harass the mean girls. Jerry meets a group of doppelgangers, and they think he's the coolest kid in the world. Jerry misses being bullied, and the friends miss bullying the idiot. Then abruptly, Jerry's dad loses the job, and they move back home like nothing ever happened. Sounds like some ingredients to make a decent episode, right? That's one of my main issues with this show. They always quickly wrap up the story in the last minute or two because they have to return to status quo. Either that or they use the dream sequence trope as a bailout. Is this show good? No. But is it bad? Nah, it's decent. I even found myself laughing at a lot of the episodes. I liked how the friends were genuine bad kids. Not bad for the sake of being evil, but that type of bad innocent kids would do to get a laugh out of their friends. For example, here's the boys making fun of some poor innocent church choir kids.
I you could be that nerdy. I'd rather die than go to church and sing wearing a dress.
See, shit like that is funny. I like that. I like how the show rightfully punishes the deserving character. If Jerry's acting like a jackass, it usually ends with him getting chased and receiving a beatdown. If Frank's being a prick, it usually concludes with his cousin turning him down or getting embarrassed in front of the school. The main problem is a single glaring issue that could be summed up with one question. Who was this show for? It was too mature and inappropriate for kids. And if you were a teenager who was able to watch raunchier material, there were better shows like South Park and The Simpsons. The Three Friends and Jerry isn't the worst thing from my childhood. It's exactly how I remembered it. Just an okay show with many laughs and a lot of room for improvement. And that's it for today, guys. If you're still watching, I consider you my people, and I appreciate you. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like and consider subscribing. I have a bunch of other videos you might find interesting. Until next time, chase your dreams, do what you love. I'm the Doctor. Gimme my music. I move in the nighttime. Shit, everything I do in the nighttime. Make one turn two in the nighttime. Zoom from that bright light. Move by my right side. Crew in the spot and it's like 2 o'clock. Wrist never been in cuffs, evident.